Hello, Eagles everywhere. I am Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro, and I'm glad today to be joined by Eagles offensive tackle Lane Johnson. Lane, how are you? You look good. You healthy, safe, and doing okay?
Safe and sound. The schedule is just go train every day and stay inside.
Yeah, how do you get your training? Because I know you've got so much energy. You're one of those guys who's always doing something. What is your workout these days?
Actually, my buddy works up here at a local gym, so going up there, just working a lot on flexibility, a lot with the ankles, lower body, getting that back in line, doing some balance work, and then really just kind of getting back in the groove of things.
Lane, how difficult was 2019 for you? I know you love to be on the football field with your brothers, for the Eagles, for the community, for all Eagles fans everywhere. 12 games played, missed the playoffs. That must have been so tough for you.
Yeah, especially because I was, I think I had my best year that I've ever had as a pro, and had that cut short and not be able to be a part of the playoffs. I've always been a guy that's I feel like I've been there, and it was a tough pill to swallow. But I was just really impressed with how the young guys stepped up, and how against all odds, how it wasn't looking very good, and how we ended up, doing. Obviously, there isn't any moral victories in what we accomplished, but at the same time, with our backs against the wall, I think we show what we can do.
Lane, do you follow free agency in the offseason? Are you one of those guys who stays up on the news? And if you do, I wonder what you thought of what the Eagles have done so far.
Yeah, I was happy. The D tackle Hargrave, that correct? From the Steelers?
Yep.
Big play from the Lions.
Yeah,
Will Parks from
correct.
the Broncos. So, I'm very excited. I saw Slay at the Pro
defense.
Bowl. He obviously, he has a lot of energy, and I think, as a secondary player, you have to have that. You have to have that confidence, especially, you're going against the number one receiver week in, week out. There's not very many guys that can do that in football, so having that type of player with us is definitely going to be a big boost of energy for the whole team. So I'm excited with that, and boost our defense with Hargrave, big body, and then adding Will to the secondary, and moving some guys around. So, coming into this year, I feel like we all have a lot to prove, but I feel like there's a new energy, there's a new momentum, and I think the whole team can feel it. I know I can feel it, even though we're not around each other, but you can still feel it.
How much contact do you have with the rest of the guys? Has there been a lot of, texting and phone calls and FaceTime back and forth with your teammates?
Yep, a lot. Sometimes we'll do group FaceTimes with Kels, Isaac, and Brandon. I think we're happy with Big V signing with the Lions. We're going to miss him. Really just keeping up. Everybody's kind of going, doing the same thing, trying to stay in shape, staying inside, staying at home. So, but still keeping the communication going. Talk to Coach Stout a couple minutes, see how he's doing. I think he's having a weird time adjusting to doing all these pre-draft interviews, on the computer instead of doing it live, which I know that's what he wants. But, we're all just kind of going with the flow and taking it from there.
Lane, will you watch the draft in a couple of weeks?
I don't know. I never really watched it, but I'll definitely keep updates, especially with who we get. But yeah, I used to be real big with that, but now as time moved on, I just kind of check the phone and see what's going on.
Let's go back to 2013. I was watching video this morning of when you got selected 4th overall, the hugs, the kisses, the pure joy you had. You went up onto the stage in New York City and you met Commissioner Goodell and you gave him a big hug and smiled. Can you go back to that night and what it meant to you and how much, kind of, as you look back, what that whole scene was like for you?
Yeah, it was just, everything's coming to a conclusion. The whole pre-draft process is very long, lingering. You have the combine, the Senior Bowl, all these interviews and workouts, and it just feels, you're finally with draft day and you realize that, okay, I'm about to be headed somewhere. So coming in, I really thought I was going to go to Miami. So as they had the 3rd pick, I don't know, the cameras were on me and Deion Jordan. So we knew one of us was going to get picked, and my agent Ken Sardoff was like, "Well, looks like we're going to Miami." We dabbed up, and then they selected Dion. It's like I knew Philly was coming up, and I knew that I had a good feel with Stout and the organization. So next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call. I said this before. I couldn't hear anything. It was so loud, screaming. I just knew that Philly was selecting me, and there it was. Next thing you know, on the stage, shaking Goodell's hand, and then getting in the car to head to Philly the next day. So it was a whirlwind, man. It happens all so fast, but it obviously feels good to get it all wrapped up because it's a lot of months leading up to that, just pure work.
It was kind of funny watching the NFL Network version of it. They immediately showed you as a quarterback, of course, running the bootleg and scoring the touchdown. And Michael Irvin actually said that, hey, the Eagles can use Lane Johnson in goal line situations as an eligible receiver. That hasn't happened yet. And Lane, why has that not happened? And how have you lobbied for that at all?
I don't know. I mean, every time we would do Fast Fridays, I would try to show every one-handed grab I could do, anything to get the coach's attention, but I just don't think it's been quite enough to this date. I think first couple of years, though, we did have some plays, goal line, where I actually lined up at receiver, but we never did run it. But we had it in, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I can get a touchdown before my career is wrapped up.
Hey, who was the starting lineup? How well do you remember? Who was the starting offensive line in your 2013 rookie season?
Who was starting before I got there or during my rookie season?
No, during your rookie season.
I was at right tackle. Todd was at right guard. Kels was at center. Evan Mathis was at left guard, and JP was at left tackle.
Evan Mathis is the missing name. There you go. Hey, let's talk a little bit about some free agency moves. I'd like you to play a little Where Are They Now NFL free agency version of that. So I will name the player. You name the team he is now on. We'll start with the top, Tom Brady.
Tampa Bay.
Okay. Nick Foles.
Chicago.
How about one of the very difficult defensive ends? You can give me a scouting report also. Calais Campbell, where did he end up?
He ended up in Baltimore.
Good job.
Calais scouting report. He's about 6'8", probably 310. He does a great job of using his length to his advantage. Long arms, so a lot of times if a short arm defender is engaged, he'll get that extension out, see where the ball carrier is, and he does a good job of disengaging. Sometimes he'll put that hand on your shoulder pads, grab you, make you lean forward, and he's really good at using his arms, just kind of plowing through people. A lot of that, he's a very smart player. Talking to him when I was at the Pro Bowl, so he sees a lot on the field, and he does a good job of getting all the other guys to kind of, see his game from his point of view. So he's a very cerebral player.
See, Eagles fans need to know, just you are such a student of the game. I love hearing when you do this. All right, how about Vic Beasley? Where'd he end up?
He was with the Falcons. I do not recall. I apologize.
Tennessee. No, Tennessee Titans. What kind of player is he?
He's a very quick twitch guy. He's probably around 245. I think his best year is whenever he had 16 sacks, led the league, I believe. I think they wanted him to be a Von Miller type player. He has that kind of quick twitch, but I don't know if he has the same type of power as him. But obviously very explosive. He's one of those guys that can, you can see what he can do when he's at the top of his game.
Okay. And then how about Robert Quinn, who leaves the Dallas Cowboys for what team?
Do not know. I thought he was going to stay with Dallas, so I haven't seen any updates with that either. So
Chicago Bears. What kind of play? Chicago Bears. What kind of player is he?
Explosive first step. I would say a lot of I think he mimics Cameron Wake with that first step off the line of scrimmage. And obviously he has tremendous bend. So you can see after a few of his sack celebrations, he'll kind of do that little Gumby worm dance, and you can see his flexibility that he has. So has tremendous bend on the edge, and he's been doing it for some time. So, and he was with Chris Long in St. Louis before all that ever transpired in Dallas.
How about Teddy Bridgewater?
Oh, I should know this. Has he signed with anybody?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the Panthers?
Correct.
No?
Well done.
It is Panthers?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, yeah. How about Gerald McCoy?
Dallas Cowboys.
What kind of player is he?
Very good. He's probably 6'3", 305. I think he's a kind of a tweener. He's not as explosive as Aaron Donald, but I think he's more explosive than Sue. Good job in the run game. And obviously, I think his best attribute is his explosiveness and his pass rush ability. And I think he's had a hell of a career so far. So it's going to be a tough matchup. I'm not sure if they signed Poe, but I know they signed Alden Smith, who, when I talked to guys across the league, they said he's probably the most difficult guy to block that they've ever blocked. He's obviously had to face some demons, but as far as talent-wise, he's one of the best.
Okay, 3 more guys. Phillip Rivers, where did he end up?
Indianapolis. I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Well, okay. And then 2 receivers. Stephon Diggs was traded to what team?
With Minnesota, now I don't even know. Can't tell
Buffalo.
you. Buffalo? All right.
Yep. And then finally, DeAndre Hopkins goes from Houston to what team?
Cardinals.
Very well done. Hey, Jason, Jason Peters is one of the members of the NFL All-Decade team. And I wanted if you could just talk about the offensive tackle. First, the fact that I don't know how you feel about not being included on that, because on that list, it's Jason, Tyron Smith, Joe Staley, and Joe Thomas. Are they all left tackles?
Yeah, one guy that I was surprised that was left off the list was Trent Williams. I may have had him over Joe Staley, but that's just being biased. He went to the same school as I did, but just watching his style of play, it's kind of, I don't know, that's a tough one to choose from. Obviously, the 49ers have had more success, and I think that's why Joe may have beat Trent out. But all 4 of those guys, I mean, they're all Hall of Famers, so, I mean, there's really no arguing with that, to be honest with you.
But we've talked about the right tackle, left tackle thing. Do you think there's any sort of right tackle, bias going on here that people still are not recognizing that right tackles are the same as left tackles?
I don't know if it'll ever change. I really don't. But I think when I look at the list of the DNs that I've gone against, I think you can go watch the film and put a lot of good stuff on tape. So, obviously as a competitor, you want to be included in everything. But, looking at it, it's a hell of a list. Top to bottom, both offense and defensively. But I don't know. I think, the right tackle market has definitely changed since I've been in the league. And I think it's starting to get more notoriety, I think, past few years. So it's steady climbing.
Lane, the defensive ends on the All-Decade team, Calais Campbell, Cameron Jordan, Julius Peppers, J.J. Watt, and then pass rushers, Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Chandler Jones. Is there one guy that of that group is maybe the best that you've faced?
Vaughn definitely with speed. Vaughn, I've never really seen a guy that – I remember watching the film before the game, and I've never seen somebody be that elusive, especially because he's getting chipped every play, and he does a good job of avoiding chip blocks and making it really look effortless. And, kind of the same way with Khalil. Once you get that kind of notoriety, you're going to get double teamed, as much as possible. You're part of the game plan. So, watching those two do it, as far as rushing the passer, both guys are unbelievable. I think Chandler Jones is definitely underrated, very underrated. He's a guy that's, leading the league in sacks, I feel like almost every year. A guy who's really crafty with his length and his arms and some of the variety of moves that he can do. But probably the best overall player is Aaron Donald. There's never been somebody inside with that kind of explosion. The way I'd put it, he'd be kind of the Dwight Freeney of the interior D lineman. A lot of times when you watch film, he's already a step and a half on guys before they can really get out of their stance. So, as far as interiorly, those guys have never seen anything like that.
I was actually surprised Ryan Kerrigan wasn't on the list. Is Ryan the best that you've faced, at least certainly 2 times a year over the last 7, 8 years? Do you think he deserves some consideration on that list?
He's a great player, but I mean, overall, I think his sack numbers are up there. I think it's close to 90. But when you look at those guys, they may be a notch above. But far as a competitor that I respect, I mean, definitely Kerrigan and DeMarcus Lawrence, those two guys that I battle with every year. So, when I'm talking about back in my day, he'll definitely be in my conversations.
All right, Lane, 2 more trivia kind of questions here. I always remember going up to Lehigh for training camp, and then once training camp was over, I completely forgot everything that happened. It was like it never existed. So I wonder, pre-coronavirus, 2 questions, sports questions. Name the number 1 ranked college basketball team before it all ended. Do you remember that team? I don't know if you're a college basketball fan.
Before the coronavirus?
Yes, sir.
I wasn't even watching it, so I had no clue.
Okay.
I watch games every now and then.
Okay, the Kansas Jayhawks.
Okay.
Jayhawks. And then what NBA team had the best record before the season was suspended?
Was it the Lakers or the Clippers? One of those two?
Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee?
There you go. Yeah.
Brandon will be mad.
Hey, what have you been what have you been watching on TV? Are you a big TV guy?
Oh, yeah, especially during these times, Dave. Oh, yeah.
All right, what do you got? Give me some suggestions.
Tiger King's number 1.
What's that?
I've watched that probably. Tiger King on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it. Okay. Describe that show because everybody talks about it, but no, I haven't seen it.
I don't even know how to describe it. It is – you can't even make it up. If you were to make up a story, so many plots and twists, you couldn't make it up. So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I think you need to watch it.
I'll give it a shot. And what other recommendations do you have?
Man, I've been a big Disney Plus guy these past few weeks. I've been catching up on old childhood flicks. I'm real big on we watched Johnny Tsunami the other night. We watched Brink, which you don't have any idea what shows those are, but some of the viewers may know what they are. So we've been doing the Disney Plus, watching The Jungle Book. We've just been we've been staying on that.
Have you tried Ozark?
I watched I think the first episode, which was very good, but I never got to watch the rest of it. Isn't there like 2 seasons now?
Yeah, they just finished season 3, so it's definitely worth watching.
We're
gonna have, we still have some time to watch some shows here, unfortunately.
Yes.
Lane, finally, any cooking tips that you have any secret talents that have emerged during this period of isolation and quarantine?
I just found some good friends that like to cook a lot. So, I mean, usually every evening we're cooking on the grill. So it's either chicken, steak, ribs. So we usually do that every evening. So we have a pretty good pit outside, and we'll stay on that. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, training, keep an update on the team, who we're getting, and I guess any signs of when we're going to be coming back. So that's pretty much it.
Lane, if I could ask, what is that thing behind you on the wall? Can you explain exactly what that is? Give me a little view of that.
It's a cowhide. So usually we use that as a rug. You put it under the kitchen table or something like that. But we decided that it would look pretty cool against the wall. So there you have it.
That does look pretty cool. Okay. That's a real cowhide, right?
Real cowhide. Oh, yeah.
It was like somebody gave that to you as a gift?
No, it's my buddy's, my buddy Clint. So he had it, he brought it up, and they say, it's on the wall. So there you have it.
Well, Lane, I thank you so much for joining here. Best of luck throughout the rest of this. Take care of yourself and the family, and we'll see you back in NovaCare as soon as possible.
Yep, appreciate it.